Hi, Miss Patterson here. Today we're going to go over parts of an atom, and this is part of our physical science. So let's talk about parts of an atom. So atoms have different parts. We have parts that are positive, and those are protons, and those can be denoted with a P or with a plus. I have neutrons, which are neutral. Don't ever say they don't have a charge. They have a charge. It's a neutral charge. And I can denote those as an N, or what can be like a plus minus symbol like this right here. I might be able to see those in one of the circles. And you have electrons, which are negative. I will see those in the outer parts. Sometimes they'll be denoted with a little E or with a minus. So if it's anything like that, that represents an electron. The center of this is what's called a nucleus. And this has a positive charge because all I have are positive protons and neutral neutrons, so this area of the atom has a positive charge. The area outside, which only has electrons, are going to be a negative charge. The mass of an atom is the center of the atom, so your protons and your neutrons determine the mass of that atom. So it's also going to be positively charged, but this, when we talk about the weight or the mass, we talk about this part of the atom. So what does the periodic table tell you about atoms? It tells you quite a bit. It tells you how it reacts. It tells you what it likes to bond with. It tells you how many protons, neutrons, and electrons it has when it's neutral. It tells you a ton of information. I can have certain periodic tables that are color-coded, and they're going to tell me families and groups, and if they're going to be metals or non-metals. It tells me a lot of information. So let's look at this box. I have a nitrogen box, and this is kind of similar to what you're going to see on a periodic table. This is the name of the element, and it's going to be spelled out. This is the atomic number. This tells you how many protons or electrons it has in a neutral atom. This is your atomic symbol, and this is universal. This is going to be a very specific type of symbol. The ones that are single letters like nitrogen, oxygen, boron, those are one letter. But when you look at the periodic table, you'll see some letters that will have a capital and a lowercase. Whenever I have two letters together, it's gonna look like that. I'm gonna have a capital and a lowercase. I would never have two capital letters together. This is the atomic mass. This is the weight or the mass of my nucleus in the center of that atom. So let's look at these boxes. I can see boxes that are a little different on different periodic tables. I can have ones like this. I have the name, atomic number, symbol, atomic mass. I can have ones that look like this, and it gives you the same exact information, but it's just in different spots. So this is my atomic number, my atomic mass, my symbol, and my name. Here's another one. I have my symbol, atomic number, mass, and name, but all that information will be here in that box. So let's look at the atomic number and atomic mass. The atomic number, like I said, is going to be where your number of protons are in that atom. And if I have a neutral atom, it's going to be also the number of electrons. So nitrogen has 7 protons and 7 electrons. So the important thing to take away with this is my atomic number, my protons, is what makes that atom. I have 7 protons. Every single nitrogen atom will always have 7 protons. I will never have 8. If I have 8, I have oxygen. I no longer have nitrogen. So protons is what makes that atom. I can change my number of electrons. I can change my number of neutrons, but my protons will stay the same for all atoms. So here I have an element. This is nitrogen. I can tell because I have 7 protons. The pluses are protons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have 7 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have lithium. If you can stop for a second, think about how many protons and how many electrons you would have. I would have 3. My atomic numbers are always singular numbers. They're never in a decimal point. Decimal points will always be your mass. So when it goes in numerical order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this number here is my atomic number. That's my number of protons. So lithium has 3 protons and 3 electrons. So here's my atom. Protons, 1, 2, 3. Electrons, 1, 2, 3. I have fluorine. Think about it for a second. How many protons do I have? I have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And electrons, I'll have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now let's look at our atomic mass. Our atomic mass is going to be the accumulation of everything in that nucleus. Do you remember what was all in the nucleus of an atom? Inside we have protons and neutrons. So those protons and neutrons is going to determine how much mass we have in the center. So let's look back at nitrogen. I have a mass of 14. Remember, 7, and this is like atomic mass units. A neutron is close to a 1. A proton is close to 1 atomic mass unit. So you just kind of count up how many you have. So I have 7 protons. Okay, we counted those. And I should have 7 neutrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 plus 7 is 14. So my atomic mass is 14. I look at lithium. Remember, lithium has 3 protons. My atomic mass, if it's 0.5, you round up. So my atomic mass, we'll say, is 7. So in the center, I have 7 particles. I'm going to have 3 of them are going to be protons. 1, 2, 3, because remember, that's what makes lithium lithium. And then I have 7, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 4 more neutrons in the center. So let's look at fluorine. Figure up how many protons and neutrons I would have in the center to give me an atomic mass of 18. So I have 9 protons, remember? And so I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 10 neutrons and 9 protons to give me 19 atomic mass units. So the number of neutrons, if I just wanted to find that, remember this is protons and neutrons. If I want just the neutrons, what do I have to do? So if this is protons and neutrons, I know how many protons I have, right? Because this is what makes nitrogen nitrogen. Every single nitrogen atom will have this amount of protons. So if I subtract the number of protons from my mass, that's also going to give me my neutrons. And that's kind of what we were figuring out in the other problems. So if I take protons and my atomic mass and I subtract them, okay, I'm going to be able to get my number of neutrons. So here, remember, I have an atomic mass of 14. I subtract 7, I should have 7 neutrons. And I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have lithium. I want to know how many neutrons I have. This is a decimal point. This is above 5, so I'm going to round this up to 7. So 3 and 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. So I'm going to have 4 neutrons. 3 protons, because that's what makes lithium lithium. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I have fluorine. So I have 9 protons, 19 total particles in the center. So 9 minus 19 is 10, and I should have 10 green dots. And I do. So an isotope is an atom with more or less neutrons. So here, let's see what element I have. Stop for a second and see if you can figure out what element do I have right here. So if you remembered, protons is what makes this element this element. I count the number of protons. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is carbon. Okay, so I look at carbon, and carbon should have 12 particles in the center. So I'm going to count real quick how many I got. I've got 6. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I don't have an atomic mass of 12. I have an atomic mass of 14. I have more neutrons than normal. I can't change my protons, remember? My protons is what makes carbon carbon. But I can change the number of neutrons and make this a heavier mass. So this is really not carbon 12. We call this one carbon 14. So this is going to be a different isotope of carbon. An ion is going to be an element that has more or less electrons than what's on the periodic table. Periodic table is your average ions. So let's look at this one. I have atomic number of 9. That means I have 9 protons. It means I also have 9 electrons. If I gain an electron, okay, now I have one more electron than normal. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positive protons. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 negative electrons. So I have 10 negative electrons, 9 positive protons. Am I more negative or am I more positive? I'm more negative by 1. I have this one here, which is lithium. Lithium has 3 electrons. I get rid of it. I have 3 protons and 2 electrons. Am I more positive or more negative? I'm more positive by 1. So when we start talking about ions, we start talking about this part right here. All right, that's it for this. It's just checking the periodic table, seeing what you got. If you guys have any questions, let me know. We'll talk to you later.